Hello everyone! It's quite a rainy day here in deep dark Dorset, but I've got something exciting I want to share with you. Back in December, I got myself a worm farm, a little vermicomposter, and I'm loving it so much. It's teeming with life. There are loads of little baby worms and big, huge worms, and they're all tunneling their way through the food and making some beautiful compost for me. It's taking quite a long time. They're just about finishing the first box, and then you sort of stack them. And once you got to 5 boxes, so we're like 3 months in now, 4 months in now, so it'll take a while to get to the 5th box. But once you get to the 5th top box, then you can go down and remove the bottom box, the first box, and that should be perfect compost by then. But it's going to take a while to get there. It's a great process. You use up all your kitchen scraps, and it's wonderful. But saying that, I don't use up all my kitchen scraps because we're a family of 5 and we love fruits and vegetables. And so like on Sunday, we'll have a big Sunday roast with, which produces or, leaves over lots of potato peelings, carrot peelings, parsnip peelings, and some Brussels sprout peelings, usually that sort of thing. And the worms can only eat so much, so some of it does not get used by them. And I actually have started sort of digging holes out in the garden. You can do like things called trench composting, where you dig a big trench and then you slowly fill it with all your kitchen waste. And it's really, really easy and straightforward, but I haven't got that much space in the garden, so I haven't got really that much space for a trench. So I've been doing like holes, digging holes, and then it sort of rots down. I also add things like egg cartons to it, and of course coffee grinds, which my worms love coffee grinds. I think it's a bit the acidity left in it, maybe they just love it. And of course eggshells too. It's always good to get that into the ground somehow, into the soil. Extra calcium, and the worms definitely need it. But yeah, so that's going really well, and I've been digging all these holes and trying to find places to dig holes, and I've kind of run out of places now. But I did see there's amazing other thing you can use to make compost and make it go faster as well. It's kind of a speeded up thing, and it makes really healthy compost, and it is called Bokashi. So I've got the box here, the one I've chosen after lots of research. Bokashi, it's a set of 2 Bokashi boxes. And I'll just talk you through it because it's such a great idea, and I wish I had known about this ages ago, because it creates compost. Compost is so expensive now. This is why, I really want to reduce waste always, of course, but I also would love to have some free compost, pretty much free. Bokashi, that's the one thing, the one drawback is you have to buy some special sort of, what do they call it? They call it bran, because it is made with bran. So you have to buy that, which is strew on it, and that's a bit of a drawback because then it's not completely free. Once you buy the set, you still have to constantly buy something, and that put me off a bit. But it's going to be worthwhile in the end. I think it's a really great way to use up kitchen waste. So let me just read one bit from the manual, which is so interesting. So it just explains the whole process. So basically, what you do is when you have this box, really neat little thing. It fits right under the kitchen sink, and it's got like if you look inside, can you see inside? It's got like a draining thing, so it drains out any liquid because you want to get rid of all the liquid. And actually, that produces a special Bokashi tea, which is really high in all kinds of goodness. So, but it's really strong, and so you can't just pour it directly on your plants. They'll actually probably just burn them and kill them completely. So you can dilute it 1%, so like 1 deciliter to 10 liters of water. And you can water your plants like once a week or less. It says once a week or less because you don't want to overdo it. It's just such strong stuff, full of really goodness for the plants though. So it's a good way of getting free plant feed, liquid feed. But yeah, so what you do that, and then you make sure you get all the water out that way, and then you just, every 5 centimeters of kitchen waste, you strew it with this Bokashi bran, which I have, I'll just show you. It came with the set, this stuff here, Bokashi bran. And then when this box is completely full of kitchen waste and Bokashi bran, you put on 2 more cups of Bokashi bran. This whole bag it's like 1 kilo. It's meant to last 6 months. So it's not like a huge cost, thankfully. I don't know how much it is because it came with the set. So I'm hoping it's going to be not a huge cost. I don't want to waste too much money on this. But I think it's a really great, exciting project. So yeah, once it's completely full, that first box, then you seal it. It needs to be completely sealed and place it somewhere not outside, because as long as it's in the shade, it won't, someplace where it won't get too cold and freeze, and also where it won't get too hot. So I'm going to keep it right next to my little worm bin, which is happily sitting in the garage, just nice and safe. And it does not smell, the Bokashi bin, neither does the worm bin. These things are just not smelly. It's amazing. It's wonderful. But you just keep it out there. You drain it every 3 to 5 days to make sure you get all the liquid out. There's a little tap there. You just get all the liquid out that way. And then after 2 weeks, they're just sitting there with the lid completely sealed. Then you can just empty it into your compost bin. And within about, I think you won't see any difference initially because it still looks like food. But within about 5 weeks, it should really have started breaking down so much that they say you can pretty much use it then as actual compost. How amazing is that? I'm gonna just have to see how this goes. I'll do lots of updates so you can see how it goes, but that's so exciting if it takes that little time to get compost. I can't believe it. But it's supposed to be something like that, they say. They say that within 5 weeks you can see it. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I just wanted to read this one little bit here to explain a bit about it because I'm not very good at explaining it. So it just says here, the fermentation process. So fermentation is a natural process of decomposing biological waste with microorganisms without any unpleasant odors, which is a really good bonus. The waste is decomposing and does not decay, thus it retains all the vitamins and minerals. Brilliant for plants and the garden. In order to achieve such a process, it is necessary to add strewing bran, also globally known as Bokashi, so that's a Bokashi bran. Every time you add a new layer of waste into the Bokashi Organco composter, which decomposes all the waste as well as some pesticides, like I suppose it's like, residual stuff that might be sprayed on mango peels, for instance, something like that, and other harmful substances into environmentally friendly elements. Wonderful! So super exciting. Yeah, I am so excited about this. And the really great, extra great thing about it is that when I do the worm bin, I only can I can add things like vegetable peelings, of course, fruit peelings. I also actually gave them some of my apples, my windfalls that were like rotting. The worms really love those. And I can add eggshells, egg cartons, those kind of things, and of course coffee grinds. But with this Bokashi thing, you can add a lot more. So you use up a lot more waste. So you can add things like fruits and vegetables, citrus and banana peels. I can't add citrus to my worm bin because they can't eat that. It hurts them or they just don't like it. Whereas banana peels they do love, and it's full of nitrogen, so it's great for them. Prepared food you can add to this thing. You can't add that to worm bin either. Cooked and raw meat. Cheese, you can't add that to the worm bin either, but you can add it to this. There's all the things you can add to the Bokashi only. I should stop talking about the worm bin constantly. Fish, yogurt, eggs, smaller bones, bread, coffee grounds, tea bags, withered flowers, small amount of tissues. How interesting. So there's just so much, and it just really will reduce our waste. And it will create compost. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. So what I'm going to do is start it ASAP. Start putting some vegetable bits in here and the bran. I think to start it, I have to add some bran first. Let me just show you how it goes. So setting it up is really straightforward. First of all, you have to make sure the tap is at closed. So you got closed up at the top there, open at the bottom. So that's the tap there. And then inside, you just actually add this little strainer to it. See, that's how it looks without the strainer. You add the strainer there. And then you ready to start going. So what it says to do first is to strew 1 cup of the bran into the bottom. The first thing you have to do is to strew 1 cup, which is 20 milliliters of this bran across the bottom. Smells really nice actually, sort of malty maybe. And then you just add all of the waste, 5 centimeters deep of the kitchen scraps. And what's really important is to squeeze the food with this little squeezer between every layer. So I've got 1 layer there, and then I'm just going to add some more bran between the layers. another 20 milliliters of bran, and then some more food waste. So once all the food is in there, and you got the last layer of bran in there, just like lasagna really, then you just seal it up. And it's a really airtight seal because they don't want any air getting in there at all. And that's why when I actually, every day, I'm going to be collecting all this food in a little container. And then at the end of the day, I'll open it once a day and add my layer of vegetable peelings and things, scraps, with the Bokashi bran, only once a day, just to avoid opening and closing it constantly, because it wants to stay in there and not get any oxygen into it. That's a really important bit of the process. So really exciting. I'll definitely keep an eye on this and do some updates as and when I start getting my compost, and just see how it all breaks down, how well it works. But I'm really, really looking forward to getting some really wonderful, really healthy compost for the plants and the garden. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but once this is completely full, I'll put it aside for 2 weeks without opening it, but constantly draining out the juices that come out every 3 to 5 days. And after those 2 weeks, I'll just dump the whole lot into a compost bin, and it'll continue breaking down. And that's what I want to check, how long that takes as well, because it should be a really sped up process. And of course, while that one is sitting there for 2 weeks, I'll be filling up the other ones. That's why you have 2 caddies. It's really clever, so you always have one on the go. And we'll just have to see how it goes, but it's a really exciting thing to start.